Welcome to our video lesson on multiplying mixed numbers. The first thing I need you to do is write down our steps. There are 4 steps for multiplying mixed numbers, and they're all right here. Please make sure you have them copied down onto your note. Also, you need to add this last bit to step number 4, right, as a mixed number. It's important that when you're multiplying mixed numbers, at the last step, you need to put it back into a mixed number, and that's kind of included in Simplify. Alright, let's do the first example together. Our first step is to convert our numbers into improper fractions. So, let's start with 2 2/3. If I'm going to write that as an improper fraction, I take the whole number, the 2, times our denominator, and then add our numerator, and keep our denominator the same. And that is times the whole number, times our denominator plus our numerator, all over the same denominator. Okay, we have 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 2 is 8, so I have 8/3, times 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13, 13/4. Okay, we're done step 1. Step 2, multiply our numerators. So we need to figure out 13 times 8. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So we have 104. Now we've done step 2. Time for step 3, multiply our denominators. Well, I can do that in my head. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, we're done step 3. Step 4, we need to simplify and write it as a mixed number. Alright, I'm going to start by writing this as a mixed number. So I take 104 and divide it by 12. Alright, well I know 12 can't go into 10, so I have to think about 104. I have to think, okay, about how many times do I think 12 goes into 104? And I think, well, I know 10 goes into 110 times, and 12 is a little bit bigger than 10, so maybe about 8 times. Let's see what 12 times 8 is. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Can 12 go into 104 more than 8 times is the next thing we need to ask. Is there a bigger number that can fit between 104 and 96? Well, I think 96 plus 12 would be 108, and that's too big, so it must be 8. So I write my 8 up there, and then 8 times 12 is 96, and I do my subtraction. So I can't do 4 minus 6, so I need to borrow, and I have a 0 there, so I need to go to the next one. This becomes a 0. This is 10, but I'm going to borrow from it, so it becomes 9. Then I have 14. 14 minus 6 gives 8, and then 9 minus 9 is 0. So to write this as a mixed number, I have 8 wholes, and our denominator stays the same, it's 12, and 8/12. Now I need to simplify these. My whole number stays the same, but the greatest common factor of 8 and 12 is 4. So I'm going to divide the 8 by 4 and get 2, and divide the 12 by 4 and get 3. So the answer to this problem is 8 2/3. We're going to do another example together. This is a word problem. Miss Fortune can ski 3.5 miles in an hour. Miss Haskins can ski 1 1/3 times farther than Miss Fortune in an hour. How far can Miss Haskins ski in an hour? Alright, whenever you have a word problem, your first step is to cube. So we need to circle the numbers and units. So the first number is 3.5. And please don't forget your units. This miles is so important. 3.5 miles, and our second one is 1 1/3. You underline important math words. Say hour is an important math word. Times farther, very important. And then B, box the question. How far can Miss Haskins ski in an hour. And E, eliminate unimportant information. On this problem, we don't really have any, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay, now I need to think, what am I going to do in this problem? Well, the key word is this times. Times tells us what operation we're going to do. We are going to multiply. So I have 3.5, how far I can ski in an hour, times 1 1/3, because Miss Haxian can ski that much farther than me. Now I follow through with my steps. Convert these into improper fractions. So I have 3 times 2 plus 1, all over our denominator of 2, times 1 times 3 plus 1, all over our denominator of 3. And that is equal to 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, times 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Okay, our next step is to multiply our numerators. 7 times 4 is 28. And then we multiply our denominators. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, our last step is to simplify. So we're going to divide 28 by 6. Well, I know 6 can go into 28 4 times, and 4 times 6 is 24. I subtract and get a remainder of 4. I write that as a mixed number as 4 and 4, 6. Remember, this is how many whole times it goes in, so it becomes our whole number. Our denominator stays the same, and then our last number down here is our numerator. Now, we're not done yet. You need to simplify this. There's a simpler way to write it. The greatest common factor of 4 and 6 is 2. So I keep my first 4 the same, and then I'm going to divide 4 by 2, and that gives me 2. And divide 6 by 2, and that gives me 3. So my final answer is 4 2/3. Now I look back at the question. What was my question? How far can Miss Haxian ski in an hour? That means that Miss Haxian can ski 4 2/3, excuse the one I already have written, of a mile in an hour. Alright, this last one, you need to do it on your own. Press pause in the video. Do the whole thing on your own, and when you're done, check your answer. If you make a mistake, double check, go back, or raise your hand and I'll help you with it. Alright, our answer is 28 3/16. If you didn't get this answer, go back and double check your question and try and find your mistake. That's all for now. I'll see you later.